3 points, check. Shamrock Rovers held to no score, check. Win for Burnsy, check. Dean Auersmith from Chicago, check. Chris from somewhere in South Dublin, check. Steph might be on the way, check. Crossbar challenge, we mention it later, check. Lads,
it's Dundalk bingo.
Night. It is Dundalk bingo loco. Lads, what a night. Look, we'll just get straight into it. It's a big game. We've had a tough week. Lads had a tough week off the pitch. I actually listened to John Mooney. Ironically enough, John Mooney's interview about 6:30 today. I hadn't seen it all week. That's exactly what we needed. There's no other way to describe it. We needed that. Draw to be bet up the road as well. Chris, we'll take either of you first. A great night all round, really.
Yeah, look, I think to say, a week's a long time in politics, but my God, look what we've packed into a week in football in Oriel Park, from Brian Garthen leaving the club to, unfortunately, Noel King having to step down from his role. And, we did put it out there on a message, but on the show, I think we just like to put on the record as well. We pass on our regards to Noel and the family, and we hope that Noel has strong and has a recovery from his illness, and it's not too bad. And we're all thinking of him at this time, because sometimes there's things far more important in football. But then I suppose you're looking, you're seeing Pats go and hire Stephen Kenny, and you're thinking, how bad can life really get? And you're thinking, this is ridiculous. I hate football. Why? What's the point of any of this? And then the team go out and win tonight, and you're just like, I love football. It's the best thing ever. So, what a roller coaster of a week. This is why we love football. You look at the league table, and you look at the lineups and the availability of players, and you think there's no way we should beat Shamrock Rovers, and we go and we do it with a 90+ minute winner. It just does not get better than that.
And Pingu, I think it's all the sweeter, a captain's goal. Someone who's I think he's gone to 11th just on today's appearances. 358. I could be wrong with the numbers. I don't have them to hand, but he's just passed Alan O'Neill for club appearance as well. And with his interview this week as well, it's you can see it. It's heartfelt. It means a lot to him. But it's happened over the last couple of days. What a time together, what a finish. Just a perfect scenario, I suppose. Look, we can talk about performance and stuff, but we're talking about the result of getting 3 points on the board, chasing that, draw the team to get up the table. You couldn't have probably written the script better, as Chris says, for the last couple of minutes of Oriel Park tonight. Yeah, no,
it was class. It was a reminder of it reminded me a lot of, was it Pat Hubin last year scored against Bows in the last couple of minutes of the match.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of that, it was quality, wasn't it? It was one. I think we defended very well tonight. And then going forward, we still don't look sharp. We don't want to go negative. We're out to win the game. Don't want to go, but we still just don't look that way going as hot going forward. But I mean, who gives a shit at this stage? We won the match. Great finish by Mountney. And as you say, kind of with the week we've had, or the couple of weeks that we've had, the month we've had, for John to come up with the goods at the end, I think that's just, it summed everything up. And it's one of them where there's so much noise around the club all the time. There's just noise all because things have been going. So as I said, the last month or so, but it looked tonight like a squad that, for the first time this season, I've probably drowned out a lot of that noise and just got on with the task at hand. And even you seen it after we scored the goal, like lads putting their bodies on the line to get the ball out of the box. I think it was Gullen or someone tried to kick it down. I don't know. I think it was Flano was saying, I just have to give him a shout out because I see him on there. Flano was saying he was trying to kick it down as far down to the corner for a throw in for Rovers, but they got the ball again, and again his body's on the line again to stop them getting in the box. And it was just it was all round. It was brilliant, and I think I'm delighted for Mountney, because Mountney's another one who, he's been, because of his injuries, he's been written off, and you can't really blame people for that either, but he's came back and he's been eased back into the team. And I just think when you look at him tonight, that's a captain's performance. When the chips are down, the team is struggling, the mentality around the ground is one of negativity at the minute. You need someone to pull you out, and who better than your captain? And just great to see. What a night.
And I think, aside from Chris being in brain, us getting our second win, as Fano said.
Yeah, easy on this. I'm not the jinx, lad.
I think, the game being delayed and, unfortunate incident on the M50 earlier today, but I don't know whether that made for maybe a slower first half than we wanted to. Kind of wasn't really a lot in it. Poles had a couple of chances. They didn't really work his goal. It kind of took 30 minutes for Dundalk really to register anything, but, it was one of those games where we had to hang in there, and albeit, Shamrock Rovers weren't fantastic either, but you're going to need that. They're the games you're going to need teams. If everybody plays at their best, Dundalk might get that result tonight. On the opposition team. I mean, so you need a little bit of luck like that. Rovers with a few injured, but so does everybody. Who doesn't? I think they grinded that out, Chris, didn't they? And I don't want to, I don't want to be sounding too downtrodden on it. It's not grinding out sounds really old school and messy, but they fought for that tonight, and the light of a Barnsley on the sideline in particular. It's got to be an unbelievably hard couple of weeks from. Garts, obviously Noel King as well, or whatever's going on behind the scenes. Dave Mackey back on the sideline tonight as well. It's those type of people, and not to be, it's for everybody really, but you're delighted that they've hung in there and grabbed that victory, and it's, like we said off air just because the minute we had before, Chris, with Drogheda dropping points as well, and the news of Kenny going to Pats, it's culminated in this tonight, and it's a massive 3 points tonight.
Yeah, look, and anyone that knows Barnsley as well, that how much he loves the club. And for him to get that one, there's no way Barnsley would ever want to be in a situation where he had to take this team tonight as well.
Yeah.
So, for him now to go and beat Rovers at home when our backs are completely against the wall, for his captain to come out and score a winner in the 90+ minute, it's fairy tale stuff, really.
Yeah.
And you were talking about just it was a slow start into the game. It probably suited us really well, because you're thinking, Mayo has come back in there, and that needs time to settle in. Monroe looked a little shaky at times down at Waterford, and I think we've seen a lot more solid display from him tonight. Paul Doyle coming back into the middle as well, and then Mountney back in as well. It probably benefited us a lot in that sense, that though it allowed those players to get up to speed with the game who may not have been in and around that first team over the past wee while. I think Mayo probably hasn't played in about 3 games, has he?
Yeah.
It's definitely been a while since Mayo was out. I think he went off in the didn't he get taken off in the Bohemians match, where it looked like he was going to get sent off because he was already on a yellow. And they just thought the best thing to do was maybe to take him off. So that probably knocked his confidence a little now to go back into the team tonight and keep a clean sheet. Same for Monroe in goals. That's invaluable to them. As I said, the slower pace, with everything that was going on, it just created a bit of a stranger environment that we benefited from the most. Maybe it knocked them out of their rhythm slightly, that certain things weren't available at the ground when the players landed, so their normal routine was thrown out. Maybe that was part of it, I don't know. But if this is the result of that, can we put some sort of a road blockage around Oriel Park and delay away teams in future? This might be a new tactic for us.
Just as we're on it, we're going to bring in a man now that how do we introduce him? He came out of retirement during the week to play for Glenmuir. He went up to Oriel Park today. I don't know if the coming out of retirement had any benefit on him tonight. Steph, fresh from the crossbar challenge. I don't know if you have a voice left on tonight, but obviously you were there. I seen you on camera once or twice. The camera caught you once or twice.
I hope he doesn't have a voice tonight.
Yeah, thanks to Kieran who tagged you in the video tonight. A couple of people tagged you, Steph. Not gonna lie, only shared one.
Which Kieran?
Kieran Fisher, running for local elections. So we
one of my pals.
As well, but,
one of my good pals.
Steph, the atmosphere seemed electric tonight in Oriel. No, I wasn't there myself. I was watching the telly, so the only one out of the three of us that was at it. But look, just sum it up for us if you can. Look, we kind of quickly glanced over a first half that wasn't too intriguing, but as a whole spectacle, as Mountney being captain, scoring the goal, it's a massive night, isn't it?
Yeah, look, we were probably delighted to get a 0-0 draw out of it, and then to get the winner at the end, then it's just icing on the cake. And obviously lucky enough to be in the right end of the ground where the goal was, and obviously the boys were celebrating. But you can probably hear on my voice that we were full voice once the goal went in. But yeah, look, I think full value for the 3 points. Like, Rovers never really threatened us. The three lads at the back, like you just said, Mayo stepped in. He seems to do all right against Rovers, doesn't he? He was in with a shirt of man the match up in Tala, and I thought all three of them didn't put a foot wrong. Like, you know, excellent at the back. Like, we restricted them to, like, I can't remember a big chance they had did a half effort, with Johnny Kenny in the first half. But like, even at that, it was an easy nail post save for Monroe. So yeah, quality all round. Johnny.
And then we got to half time, Steph.
Yeah,
and
we got to half time, and then the second half.
Were you nervous, Steph? Were you nervous? That's the question. Were you nervous?
I wasn't nervous. I just didn't look.
I didn't see. I only seen one. I don't know if you got the. Maybe you scored the other one. I didn't see the other one. So did you get 2 goals?
The gale force wind that was there. Like, you couldn't pick it up. I didn't have the right footwear on. Oriel Sophus, lads. We've talked about it plenty of times in the show. Oriel Sophus. No, look, it was 2 shocking efforts, to be fair. Someone said, I heard fucking, I can't even remember his name, saying it was 2 great penalties, but the keeper would have fell over and probably stuck his hands out and saved them as well. Bobble City, but yeah, look, we don't want to be talking about shite tonight.
Gally, can I make a change for our man of the match competition tonight? Can we do the best comment or the best description of Steph's crossbar challenge wins the pizza tonight?
Don't you be a two-faced cunt thing.
Oh, jeez. on a more spectacle night, I suppose. Yeah. Although we haven't, you know. Look, I know Pingu mentioned. I know we haven't been brilliant in the first half, but I seen a lot of comments tonight on. It goes to show probably, and I think Christian might have mentioned this last week. I think Niall Newbury might have mentioned as well. It goes to show maybe the league is not where we want it to be as a whole, because if, you know, I think Rovers have won one of the last 6 and they're still in second in the league. So was tonight kind of show that the gap isn't as big as we think. It's just, you know, if you can get a run together of games, if you can get kind of a, I mean, there's talent there. There's boys there that can play. And you look at Zach Johnson, Zach Bradshaw, you know, Darryl Hogan in bits and pieces. You know, Gullen, again, look, he hasn't had a wallop at goal tonight, but he's made a nuisance for himself. Cammy Elliott, at one stage when looking for the ball in the air, I felt sorry for him at one stage. I see the suggestion from Donald Green that they play him as a number 6 because he mopped up everything going. He just can't get a running on goal. But, you know, is it an indictment of the league and an example of the league tonight that the gap isn't as big? It's just that we've had a really, really poor start of the season, because Rovers, from what I've seen tonight, and they seem to be really poor. It's a very poor Rovers team, albeit missing a few. But we were there to take advantage of it, I think. You know, that's what we need to be doing over the next couple of weeks. We've Galway next, like lads are saying. We've got to carry it on, like Flano said. You know, you got to take momentum now from this. You can't just be one pot. We're in a situation now where you're delighted for tonight, but you got to now carry this for the next couple of games. You can't just be, you know, we can't be living off tonight in a couple of weeks like we did the first game of the season, you know, with the draw. You know, it's a real, hopefully this is a stepping stone now for the lads. I don't know what's coming in the line coaching wise. I don't know, you know, Burnsie's done himself no harm. You know, it seems to be a great man, motivator, seems to be a great coach. You know, whatever's working is for tonight has gone well. But, you know, have we got to carry this now? Have we got to try and carry this momentum again on to next week?
Yeah, you'd like to think this is the turning point. Like we thought we were hitting the ground running when we drew Rovers up there. So you like to hope it's a kick on from here. The score at the last minute as well, like in injury time or whatever, just gives you a boost, and you want to just play tomorrow again if you could. But yeah, look, I think that'll boost everyone's confidence. The fact that like it's a complete shutout against Rovers there, like the talent they had even coming off the bench, like Ferrugia coming on, Graham Buck, like these boys of serial league winners, like they even have half titles in there as well, like 0.5 titles as well. So But yeah, look, like they didn't really threaten. Even at the end, you were thinking they got an easy free kick, and you were just waiting for Graham Buck to swing his left leg at it, and Blackburn puts it to the back post, and we defend it well again. Like we've won everything defensively in our own third, like in our own final third, like so. Yeah, we just need to use this now to kick on. I jokingly said, I think last week in a comment that, if we got the new manager bands every 2 weeks, we'd be fine. So look, you hope it's just not a bit of Burnsy's been there and has taken it on now a little bit. Hopefully, to line somebody up, because obviously it's not sustainable with his coaching badges. So hopefully they bring somebody in, because look, as you could see there tonight, there's the bones of something. Whether it's a top half finish, I don't know, but it's definitely under there. They can put it up to anybody. It's just probably missing that key link at the top of the pitch. Like the boy, you can't fault Elliot or Gullum for the work rate tonight. They ran everywhere. Just sometimes they're not in the right place at the right time, or their touch lets them down. They just seem a yard off pace, but you can't fault the effort. You can't fault the effort from any of them there tonight.
Yeah, Pingu, just this was kind of my next kind of lead in, Jason Crowley, something like this comment here: desire, work rate, throwing bodies in the line. Like you said as well, Pingu. With Mountney's touch wood, his injury history. It's a real a kind of a, it's not a backs to the wall performance. It's just they didn't give an inch. Although they've made one or two mistakes, passing errors. You can forgive that if that's what you're going to be dealing with over the next couple of weeks and you get results like that. But, it was a real kind of, hard work, let's get out and play. Let's get out and make a nuisance of ourselves to the point where we can grab a goal in the late. I think Steph had said, we expected a little scoreline, but for Mountney to pop up, I don't think the goal was going to come from anywhere else. When you look at the game, we've had, Darren McAllister, Darrell's cross. The cross was poor from Horgan. There was nothing really happening in the box. We probably needed that little bit of luck that we haven't been getting over the last couple of weeks from John Mountney, and that's that hunger, that work rate, and that's what we need now. That's hopefully the next how many games we have left. That's what we're looking for, over the next couple of weeks, and it's you got to admire the way they've handled themselves tonight, albeit against a slightly poor Shamrock Rovers team. But we're missing Robbie Benson as well, I suppose. You've got to throw that in.
Yeah, I look at the echo Steph's point. I think for once I'll agree with him, but no, in the final or not in the defensive third tonight, I thought we were excellent. I think, we can say it was a poor oversight, but some of their passing in around the 18-yard box is class. And had they passed like that against the Dundalk that played last week, they probably would have knocked 5 or 6 against us. But if they got in behind the back four, the lads were getting back, as I said earlier, they were throwing their bodies on the line to get it out of there. They were headering everything. I thought that was it was great to see, because as I say, I haven't watched last week's game where it wasn't like that, and it felt like there was a little bit of a lack of effort this week. This week it just felt like everybody was aligned, and I think, to everybody's point, I've seen a lot of comments coming in that we need to back it up now, but it's more than just a win against Rovers tonight. I think you have to look at it. Rovers are the champions, and you can say they were poor. You can say whatever you want about it, that this is a poor Rovers side, but we're after beating the champions. We're the bottom place team in the league, so that's a massive confidence boost to go out there. And as I think Steph said a few minutes ago, even when you look at who they brought off the bench, Graham Burke, Ferrugia, like if you're struggling as a defender and you see these two lads coming off the bench, and Steph would probably know this as a defender who struggled in his career, but when you see that kind of quality coming off the bench at 60, 70 minutes, like the first thing, right, Steph, you're going to be thinking is, fuck me, I'm going to have to step up another gear, But I think the lads done. I think the lads done a great job of it tonight, and I think. I just think we're full value for the win. One thing you can guarantee with Dundalk is, even on a poor season, you get Rovers in Oriel Park, and there's a good chance you're going to get something out of the game. And it was great to see it. But I think the defensive action tonight was the catalyst to the win.
Yeah, just on Mark Carolyn's comment there about the manner of the Drugs defeat, I think that'll play massively into it as well. There was one or two of us in the ground, and we were sort of, checking scores because we were well behind everyone else. And one stage throw that we're winning 2-1, and you're sort of saying, shit, we're drifting away here again. We were 8 points behind, and then they go behind, and then you're sort of saying, oh, look, it's 5, and then we get the winner, and now it's down to 3. So, in the space of a couple of minutes, it's a big, massive swing from being, cut adrift at 8 points, and you're sort of scratching your head going, what are we going to do here after probably getting a 0-0 draw with Rovers? They go behind 2 injury time goals, and then we get an injury time winner, and you're 3 points behind, and you're looking at catching them again. I'm sure they are, crushing themselves tonight, but fuck them.
Chris, does tonight? Yes, I was trying not to laugh too much when I was going to ask this question. Like the lad said, has our season kick-started now? Although, albeit 47 games into the league, whatever we're in, but that has hopefully that's the catalyst now. That's what's going to start our season tonight. A game like that, like Pingu says, you could have a terrible season, and the Dog do have a habit of coming up with the goods against the Rovers team at Oriel Park. Whether it be cup or league, but hopefully now we're looking at that's going to kick on our season a little bit, because like Steph says, the gap will close. There's no point in looking at what Drogs are doing. We have to go out and do what we're doing. Otherwise, we never make that gap up. And we still have to play them again, albeit very late in the season. But, that's hopefully now the kickstart. I hope I'm not here now at the same time next week going, what were we talking about last week? But, we, that hopefully that's the kickstart now we need to get get these boys up the table.
Yeah, look, I think there's plenty of things you would see in that performance which would say that we can go to Galway and try to get something out of that game now. But I think if you look at the league, and we're saying about, the level, is it poor? What is it like this year? I think we've seen, Bows put about 3 wins together on the bounce, and suddenly they were third in the league. We've seen Waterford there over the past few games put together a couple of victories, and that has them say, that's all it takes in this league at the moment. You got to string a couple of results together, and it puts you in a real good, solid position. Yeah. And, like this week we've seen Max Mata leave Sligo. You're thinking they still have Ed McGinty on loan, and a couple of other players as well. So are they going to get weaker? I know you could say the same probably about us too. So that's why it's important then that we, like Steph just said there, you got to close the gap to Drogheda and Sligo. And the only way we do that is we've got to look after our own business, like you say there, and try to string a couple of wins together. I know it's not something we've been able to do all season long, and it's only our second win, but definitely in Oriel Park we're not an easy pushover. It's the away form is the thing that we've really got to look at. We're still without an away victory this year, so that's the big thing that we've got to turn around somehow, or somehow make ourselves hard to beat on the road, and then take maximum points back in Oriel Park again. But there's definitely enough in that performance that you would say, if it's Burnsy leading us into that, you'll think that maybe him and Dave Mackey might be able to mastermind something else out of this and put another rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah, lads, given tonight's result, and obviously as the Dog fans, you wanted to work. We want Bonesy. It's not that just Bonesy, but the fact that he's there and he's been there for a while, he's been a player, been a captain. Would you be looking now to, not to be talking about the next managers or anything like that, but is it something that needs? Should we just stick with what we have now? We've Dave Mackey on the bench with a pro license. We've Liam Bones. Is it something that you could just run with to see, or are we in danger of the next couple of weeks saying, right, well, they're going to go again and change this again, or is it a viable option to stick with what we have? Although you probably need another coach in there as well.
I think we definitely need someone else, Gally. To be honest with you, yeah. I don't think. You definitely need a coach anyway, 100%. Like, I mean, they're very lax. Bournesy's doing a lot, but you look at it tonight. Dave Mackey was just there as the pro license holder on the bench. He didn't. I'm not saying he didn't have an input, but he didn't do a whole pile. It was Bournesy was up, and the analyst who I thought looked a bit like Jason McConville. Shout out Jason. We're doing the coaching, but I think we have to get it. We have to get the right person in. I think there has to be There has to be a manager or head coach, whatever you want to call it now. But what's your thoughts on it, Steph, pal?
Yeah, look, I think it's inevitable that we have to get somebody else. Like, you know, Barraclough was being touted around, and when you look at his CV, what he done with Sligo and stuff like that, I know it's a different environment he's probably coming into, but possibly looks like the best candidate. But look, the way things have been going, the way managers have been flipping in and out, 70 candidates, God knows who's going to come up. But yeah, for me, look, I think I don't because we've got the win against Rovers, I don't think we can just say, look, we'll give it to Liam Burns and have Dave Mackey stand there as the pro license holder. I just look, it's not something. I don't think we should go down that road again, to be honest with you. We've been through a lot of heartache, but it'd be nice to get someone in that you could get excited about, because the bones of the team, like I said before, on the back of that performance, like Bradshaw was excellent in the middle. Yeah. I thought Doyle was, for me, spoiler alert, thought he might have been man of the match, and like that's a total 180 from a couple of weeks ago when I was not giving him dogs abuse, but look, I was saying his performance is marked up to scratch, which I didn't think they were. But tonight he was probably, I was shocked to see him coming off, because I thought he was the best player on the park. He was nicking balls, like that's what you want to see. Like it's a world of a difference from the draw of the game, where he's slow on the ball and Deegan's beating him to the punch in every press, and like he's nicking balls away from Jack Byrne there tonight, and he's progressively passing forward. He was kept us ticking over when we needed it. So like, you know, it's like when the players lift a performance like that, but like we keep hopping on to, it counts for not much if we go and let the standard slip from that again. Like the crowd was right behind the team tonight. It's going to be a different proposition next week in Galway, especially after them getting the turnaround tonight as well. So look, if we could just carry the momentum and carry the performance, nicking the win at the end, like everything just fell into place for us tonight.
Chris, Gally, I think the other thing though, Gally, like with all the applications, you know, we're meant to have 70 plus applications in for the role originally. I think we need to go back and look at that process that we originally had in place. And now is the time with a calm head to really have a look at them and hire, like Steph just said, the right person in now. There's an opportunity to build on something where we're not miles behind everyone else. If we can get the right candidate in now who's willing to come in, you have a platform right now that you can close that gap up and try your best to be as competitive as you can this season. And whether that's just about avoiding relegation or a playoff or something, like I think we'll all take that right now and let that manager build for next season again. But I think we had a process in place, and our owner jumped the gun slightly on it to bring in Noel King that time. That hasn't worked. It was a big gamble. It didn't work. But now is the chance to go back to the original process that we had in for the closing date on the application forms for those who took their time to go out of the way to actually apply for the role. Let's go through that now with a critical eye and try to get the best candidate out of that. And I think that's the key thing for the club over the next while, is trying to get the right candidate in, because this could be make or breaking our season.
Yeah, and you know, the question I was going to ask was like what the lads are saying. Even if you look at that squad tonight, that, you know, we don't want to just kind of pigeonhole this performance, but with the exception of someone, I don't mean the exception of a good striker. We have them. They're just not getting the rub of the green. With the exception of that, the nucleus of the squad there, you know, on their day, is a real good prospect for any manager looking in there. It's a real, you know, I know we're bottom of the table, but you know, I think when we get at it, if the right coach comes in or the right manager to oversee the coaching, you know, we could steadily kind of progress. And we don't want to get carried away with tonight, but you know, we had the Barraclough mentioned. I think over the weeks there was Paddy McLaughlin as well, stuff like that. And there's loads of names mentioned, but you know, lads, I see these comments coming in with some random names. I'm not even putting half of them up. But you know, there's a potential there for someone to come in and, you know, have a proper go at it, because you're a third of the way through, and you know, someone like whoever it may be, the managers that have applied for it, it's a good kind of cherry for someone. You know, there's an opportunity to keep a team like Dundalk in the Premier Division, and there might be an opportunity to sign one or two, albeit you may need to lose one or two in the window as well, to bring one or two in to kind of strengthen the squad. Sorry.
Don't be bringing the mid down now.
No. What I'm saying is, they're going to have to spend a little bit of money, I suppose, in the window to get, you know, what they need in to get over the line. And it's going to be one of those that if they don't spend it, it might cost them. But if they do, it could keep them in the Premier Division, you know, potentially up to third or fourth bottom.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it's going to be a big window for us. Obviously, Scott High's already gone, so he's a big miss. I thought he was a quality player, and he just seemed to be finding his feet. And then obviously Bradshaw and Johnson, like Bradshaw's been playing centre mid, left full for the last wee while up until he got suspended, and then he comes straight back in there, and you know, into the centre mid, and he's kept the ball rolling over. Thought it was excellent as well tonight. So yeah, look, I think you have to get somebody in to manage them, and obviously Gally, you're gonna have to step up and take the reins, ship us out to the Fatima Court.
We get you sorted. If they come down and train the ball, that'll teach them how to play football, because it's nowhere near the quality of the poor quality that's in Oriel Park. But yeah, look, it's, you know, food for thought. Pingo, I just wanted to pick, I don't want to catch it on the hop here now, we're going off topic here, but I wanted to pick you up on a tweet that you had during the week on your socials. I might be catching you on the hop here, but you obviously, look, you had a question for the dog fans, and it was about, you know, a proper supporters trust again. You know, getting the 1903, the tie wrap gang, something like the bit of red is what your treat was. You're just for your own word, it's badly needed, in your opinion, for the club in the future. What, you know, would you like to expand on it, or can we, you know, put it a call tonight for anything? Not to put you on the spot, but look, sell it to us.
Yeah, no, look, there's been a bit of movement throughout the week on it. After the tweet, a few people are reaching out privately. Gally, you're gone frozen there for a second. Let it go, will you? But yeah, no, there's been a little bit of stuff going on but behind the scenes. Myself and Stephen Todd is actually has put together a one pager for it, so I'll put in the comments now. We're organizing a Zoom call on Wednesday at 8:00 Irish time for anyone that's interested in getting involved. And this, look, you know, that the tweet just came, and I've made no bones about it on the podcast for as long as it's been going. And Gally, you would know probably better than anyone from when we set up the Lily White Supporters Club. I think from that time, I think I felt like there should have been a supporters. I don't think the Supporters Trust ever should have disbanded when Fastfix took over, and there's obviously reasons why they did that, and more power to them, but I feel like it should have been handed off to someone else. But I don't want to go too far back. I think it's time to look forward now at this time. And you know, you look at I just keep looking at Sligo Rovers, and I referenced in my tweet about the Bit of Red Supporters Trust, and they won the league in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2012 or 2013. I think it was 2012 that they won it. But they're living off of that success, you know, like that. Their Supporters Trust has gone from strength to strength after that. We've won an unprecedented amount of trophies, you know, over the last 10 years, and we've nothing to show for it from a supporter's perspective. And you could blame supporters or whatever. I don't want to get into all that tonight, but I just feel like there's an opportunity now to do something for the future of the club and form something. And this isn't going to be another supporters club in the vein of the 1903. It's not going to be a supporters group in the vein of the Shedside Army. This is something a little bit bigger, you know, and it's a chance to maybe bring everybody together. Again, I want everyone to have a say. I don't want to be part of any committees. I'm in enough committees as it is. But I want to help get this off the road. And, you know, obviously with me living in America, there's no point me being a part of any committee, but I want to help get this going and support and maybe help advise the setup of this. Because I just think that in order for Dundalk's future to be anyway successful, I think supporters have to have an input and have to, have a seat at that table. So something as simple as myself and Chris was chatting to me a lot about it this week too, and he'll probably jump in. But any ideas if the club has made no qualms about, and we saw obviously a good news story this year is that the the health and safety inspector or whatever said that the YDC, once the improvements are made, it's ready to kind of reopen. So if there was 50 grand needed for that and the club doesn't have that money, maybe this supporters trust or whatever it's going to be called, maybe they could put up some of that money or raise money towards that, because that money is going to end up making the club even more money once that's established, once that's set up, if that makes sense. So again, probably the most elaborate thing I can say is that there's wheels in motion, and I'll put the Zoom link in for anybody that wants to attend on Wednesday at 8:00. But it's kind of, as I say, I've my ideas on it, but I want it to be open to anybody that, I want it to be a broader supporter group that's willing to put the idea into motion and other people have a say, because as I say, there's very little that I can do from here, but I just want to see what I can do. Chris, do you want to jump in as well, Chris, because you've been chatting to me a little bit?
Yeah, I was just hoping to just get past Drogheda, where the coverage got better again. Look, I think from our chats this week, we were just talking about how do we bring all these different supporters groups together for one common cause, one common goal, and that's Dundalk Football Club and Dundalk Football Club in the future. And I think we feel that each group needs to have their own, I suppose, voice in this new group. So we would like a board to be made up of members of each individual Shedside Army, Thai Rap Gang, the fundraising committee, the 1903. All of these should all be part of it, doing their own thing individually, but all coming under this one umbrella that will help Dundalk Football Club through. And Pingus just mentioned a few things, like getting the YDC back operational is absolutely huge. Floodlights, football, upgrading the pitch. That's immediate goals that the club needs to resolve.
Is Chris going on that Zoom? Yeah.
€100,000 exactly.
Yeah, but it shows that these things can be done with an organised supporters group behind them.
Steph?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a few people shooting it down during the week, which I think it should be open for discussion, because look, if it's an idea and it doesn't get off the ground, then fair enough. But I think, it's got to the stage where you see clubs like Sligo or the poster boys for it, I suppose, like year on year, you see them coming up with different ideas. I think they've done one possibly last year or the year before, where it was like you bought a brick, you sponsored a brick or something along those lines, and why can't we do it? Why can't we all just put our heads together? It's been too long where people have been in different factions, let's say, of the supporters or the supporters fan base, and getting brownie points off each other. Why can't we all just come together, and the common goal being the football club, and have, like to say, have a voice on the board if possible. If the club are open to that, brings everyone together, you get a bit of feel-good factor about it. You feel even more part of the football club than you probably already do. So, for people to start shooting it down before it's even been discussed as an idea, I think, I don't see the logic to that, but everyone has their own opinions. Not to say I'm right or wrong, but I think, look, it definitely needs to be discussed. Fair play to the lads for getting it off the ground. Hopefully it's successful, and encourage as many people as possible to jump on the call, even if you're just on for a listening brief to see what the thinking is behind it, or if you want to be more vocal. I'm sure everyone's open to it. The more ideas you get, the better, and if we can bring everyone together, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, I think Steph, look, I hear that, and I was obviously a little bit despondent when I heard some of the people shooting it down straight away, but I do kind of understand some of the rationale behind it, because obviously, like I referenced, the Lily White Supporters Club was set up in 2015 and there wasn't that appetite for it at the time. But as I say, I think, again, when we founded that, Gally, and I think part of this is right now we're trying to form a working group to get it off the ground. We're not forming something and then it's launching tomorrow. This could take 4 or 5 months, could take 6 months. We're not putting a time limit on when it will actually launch and be ready to go and be ready to present to people. I think the biggest thing now, as I say, is form a working group. What's the mission? What's the membership going to look like? What's the member fees? What's the goals and objectives of this? And again, like I said, because obviously it started with a tweet that I had. I've had 5 or 6 people reach out that are interested in helping out, but I don't want to be the one just because it's a tweet that I put out. I don't want to be the one to say this is how it should be. I want as many good heads to come up with that and figure out what it's going to be like. But yeah, I look at people are going to be skeptical because the supporter base is so fractured nowadays. But I think there's an opportunity, as I say, to move forward and try bring people together. And as I say, if any of those other supporter groups, want to have a voice, hopefully we'll be able to afford that. And I even saw on Twitter tonight people aren't happy with the Shedside Army because they let the flares off and saying they shouldn't get a voice. But I think straight away then you're on hiding it. I think every supporter group needs to have a voice. They might not have a vote on this. Again, that'll be up to whoever's whatever's put together in the whole thing. But I do think all the supporter groups need to have some sort of a voice in it for it to be successful. But it's an opportunity to make money for the lasting legacy of the club. And I think back to what the old Supporters Trust used to do, and I was thinking this week about 2008, Steph, and you'll remember because I think you and Paul Smith might have been the only people that attended the dinner dance at the end of that season. Yourself, Paul, and Tiernan Mulvaney, I think, were the only 3 that attended that. Like
Shane Grimes maybe as well.
There was these big nights that were hugely successful, but I think back to the 2008 team, and they never got the send off they deserved. And wouldn't it be great for this new group to put together a dinner dance where all of those players go and finally get that recognition they deserve? Because I feel like they've never got it. Steph likes to bring it up every week on the podcast. I said I'd do it for him, but you know what I mean? Like things like that. Obviously, from what I gather, the club is going to run a golf classic, but that was also something that was a trust initiatives. There's so many things could be done, but I think having a goal, right, is your part of your goal going to be to put money in a pot for eventually, a cooperative with an owner, a 50+1. I know that's getting into a wider discussion, but is that something that it's going to be for? Is it also, like I said, going to be for projects like who is it? Chris brought up this week about the mono stand at Bowes and the cost of that. Like, is maybe that something that the Supporters Trust would be willing to raise money to put that on the town end, and we could get the town end sponsored by the Town End podcast on top of it. But,
I like it.
But putting something like that, because something like that will benefit the supporters as well. Like, we don't want just something. I saw someone saying that you could put money in a pot to raise money for a manager. I think the objective of this is for the future of the club. It's not for the short term. And the objective will be whatever the people come up with. But for me, in my opinion, the objective should be long-term aims and putting together funds, just as an example, for a stand that's going to benefit the club for years. And again, if it costs the trust or whatever 50 grand to make that, or 100 grand to make that, whatever the cost would be, if in the course of a season the club might make 180 grand off of that, so it does benefit the first team in a roundabout way, but you're benefiting everybody with it. But yeah, look, as I say, if anybody's interested, because again, I'm throwing out ideas that I have for it, but I'd rather more people than just me. So so we're having this meeting. I'll throw the link in the group or in the comment section now. If anybody wants to attend on Wednesday, Stephen Todd, as I say, has a 1-pager, so he'll be able to go over it in more detail. He'll probably text me tomorrow saying everything I said here was the opposite of what he's put down. But yeah, I know. Look, we'll see how it goes. I definitely think there's an opportunity for supporters to get together now and, as I say, plan for the long-term future of the club.
And is there a link for that, Pingo, at the time? Will there be a link put up? Will we be able to put up stuff up on socials there?
I just said I'm putting it in right now, Gally.
Yeah, no, but is there have we got a post, or is it just a simple link, or is there anything?
It's just going to be a Zoom link because
perfect.
Again, I don't want it to become and myself and Todd are going to kind of chair it together for Wednesday, but
cool.
we don't want it to become a slagging match about everything that's gone wrong. So so our meaning is just on one tonight, but we just want to make sure, as I say, we want to make sure that that it's a sensible discussion too. So so yeah, it'll be going around supporters WhatsApp groups and that as well. If you know, but if people want it, maybe we'll put it in I'll get Chris to put it in the link for the episode or something as well.
Thanks, pal.
Well said.
Cheers,
cheers,
pal.
stuff, lads. Well done. As we are approaching the hour of 10:30, given the 9:30, sorry, 9:30. My God, it's 11:30, lads, not 9:30 or 10:30. My God, that was a late day for that game. We'll get stuck straight into our man of the match pizzas. Did we give one away last week? We did. It was the week before we didn't give one. We don't deserve one, I think. Pingu, while you're on a roll there, give us your man of the match. We'll kick you off first because you're far away.
I'm going to go for John Mountney.
JM, straight in, no messing.
JMC.
Christopher.
I'm a romantic at heart, lads, and for the captain to come back after everything, score a winner against Rovers, it's John Mountney for me also.
Here we go. Crossbar challenge, take a Rover.
Yeah.
Steph, I know you might go upset the apple cart here, but
yeah, I probably am.
Talk us through
it. I'm not going to say I've been overcritical of him, but I have highlighted his underperformances. So for me, Doyle, I thought Paul Doyle was excellent in centre mid. I thought he was the engine room. He's gone from, being probably in the gutter against Drogheda and a lot of people, digging him out for that goal that we conceded. And then to put in that performance tonight that we sort of all thought might have been in there. I thought he was excellent. I thought, I was a bit surprised when he was coming off, but maybe I hope he's not injured from the performance he put in tonight. But yeah, he ran his socks off. He was everywhere for me. There was, honourable shirts for Bradshaw. You could pick out any of the three centre halves. Mountney, obviously, crops up with the goal at the end. It's a bit of a romantic story after, been injury plagued for the last couple of seasons, been named club captain, and you're sort of thinking, was that a goodwill gesture more than anything else? But look, he's been excellent since he's come back in. Touch wood, he's been flying fit. He's done really well tonight. Again, he crops up with the winner. So look, I've no objections with my good pals Chris and Pingu picking Mountney. I can't begrudge them that. But I think, Paul Doyle just slightly for me. But yeah, look, I can't take it away from Mountney tonight either. Paul Doyle anyway, long into that. Paul Doyle.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those nights where if the game probably finishes 0-0, it's probably Paul Doyle. I think the fact that the week that's been in us, like the lads said, like you said, getting probably a bit of surprise, maybe got the captaincy at the start of the season. But look, I mean, if he can pop up with 1 or 2 goals like that during the season, I'm with Chris on this. I'm not a romantic, but I mean, definitely John Mountney pop up the last minute. I mean, Titanic music there. We played that at the end of the season, maybe over the bottom of it. But yeah, look, you couldn't have wrote it any better. Probably the only man in the pitch that might have grabbed the goal for tonight because it just wasn't happening for the strikers yet again. But no, I'm John Mountney. Unfortunately, Steph, we're outnumbered 3-1 here. But
it's okay.
look, an honourable mention definitely for Zach Johnson and Paul Doyle. But yeah, look, I'm definitely on John Mountney tonight. So just going through the random comments, I think we'll pick someone that probably hasn't. I don't remember this name coming up before for a pizza. So we will go with Manus O'Neill early on in this podcast. Mountney for pizza. Contact Tony's Pizzeria. We let him know that you've won it. And enjoy your pizza. Buy some chips. Buy some Coke. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, listen, I think for the night that's in it, and I'll have a word with Finney tomorrow if we can double up, because I think we've missed a couple of weeks with not giving away a pizza. I think we should. I think if you want to dip into the pot again, even Pingu pick out a winner there from some of the comments. Like, surely. I think there's been 2 or 3 weeks. We talked about doing double bubble if we got a good win at some stage. So
right, go on, Pingu.
Yeah, I'll go with Katie McEnany. Winning there, she got in just. I think she said she put him down the minute that I said he was on the match. So, Katie, congratulations on your pizza.
And if Vinny complains, tell him to see Steph.
Send him to me. And
first of all, on the M.
Chris
on the M1. Any final thoughts? Jerry Springer.
And you can have a pizza, and you can have a pizza, and you can have a pizza. Everyone's having pizza tonight.
Is that our final? Is that the way we're going to end the show?
No
idea.
We are into the doldrums of 11:30, lads. So I appreciate everybody for coming on. We're up to we just passed the 500 mark tonight, lads, which is unbelievable. Usually we get the crowds in when the big games have been absolute dire. But look, appreciate everybody for hanging on with a late kickoff and a late show tonight. But look, lads, thanks for coming on. We go again are we on Friday, lads? Check the fixtures here. Somebody check the fixtures for me. Galway away. We hope to carry the momentum on. Don't worry about what's going on up in Chicago, who the manager is, lads. Just keep it up at Oriel Park. And until then,
thanks to our sponsors.
Sorry, sponsors, Chris. Sorry, sponsors. Yeah. Do you know what I was actually going to do there? I was actually going to bring it up before I actually come off. So thanks not to Loud Village, to Dundalk Village, Tony's Pizza. Obviously, I was got to cook 2 pizzas for everybody now, and obviously playoff.
One-off special.
A one-off special. So yeah, look, we'll see everybody next week, and until then, come on to town.